And we are live. Today is 17th of October and this is OSRA Daily Scrum. And today here is only Nikita and me. I hope Motasam and Craig will look at this video later. Well, Nikita.
Yeah. So I've spent the last 24 hours doing mostly kind of administration and management, I would say, and very little coding. I've started creating posts on the Google Plus community where we communicate with the client. I've posted that we've set up the new staging server, and I sent them, I think in total, 6 or 7 stories for review, and Ahmed has been accepting them relatively quickly, so it looks very promising that this is a good channel for us. So I was able to move a bunch of stories today from resolved to done. I also needed to, after we set up the staging server that is separate from our development server, I needed to get Amazon S3 storage working on it, and I asked Motasam to create a new S3 bucket, and he was able to do that. So we now have access to S3 both on our testing server and on the staging server, so we can test. We need that storage for uploading attachments like Excel spreadsheets, and that was very important because otherwise we couldn't create orphan objects. But now all of that is set up. I quickly fixed. I submitted a pull request and merged it myself for a typo that was preventing one of the completed stories from being demoed properly to the client. But after merging it in, everything is working, and the client has since accepted the story, so that's done. And as I mentioned, one of the other stories that I have in resolved, it's ready to be demoed, but there is no easy way to demo it without first completing story 177. So I took ownership of that, and that's what I will work on next. Other than that, I tried a little bit to help Motasam with his problem of the failing test for one of his pull requests, but we haven't really made that much progress. I don't know how much we should try to dig the reasons for the failures, because the alternative approach, because everything is green on my side, I can basically take his code and submit a pull request myself, and since it all seems to be green, then we can do it that way. But that I would prefer not to do it because the history of the comments and the code review kind of gets lost. But if we can find another way out of it, then I think this is maybe one alternative for how we can proceed. And I think that's it.
Well, it's too much at all, you know. Okay. I also want to show to you guys our report. So now, since we've established direct connection to the client and continuous deployment to the client, we can see a real burn down chart, which is very rare to see in the projects, and this is burn down chart based on accepted stories, which is, I want to say again, very rare. And now we can see that actually we are under the time, or how to say it correctly. We should
behind schedule.
Hurry. Yeah, we're behind schedule, behind plan schedule about closing our stories. We concentrated a lot on the process and on some other issues such as deployment, but now we need to concentrate on some stories to be delivered because we just really need to we have about 13 points in to-do stage, so we even haven't started to work on them. I think it's time to work on some stories.
Yeah.
Because next week is like until Tuesday we should finish the stories, and after that we can, of course, because we have continuous deployment and accept, we can wait not till Tuesday but do that on Wednesday.
Mhm.
Anyway, we should do a lot of job in the first days of next week or at weekend if someone can. So
Yeah.
we have what to do. Yeah. Nothing else besides that. Nick, do you want to raise any other issues and discuss them now?
Um, no, I don't think there's anything else. I just wanted to
Yeah.
mention I participated in the Euro Scrum today. This was the first time that I was in a different Scrum other than OSRA.
Uh-huh.
So trying to, represent our project
Okay.
within it.
How did
It,
it go?
it was pretty good. It was David who was running the Scrum, and I talked about this continuous deployment that we've set up, and he seemed to be actually interested in looking into it. So maybe I kind of pitched a good idea to him, something that might be useful. Yeah,
Okay. Okay, great. Well, then have a good evening and see you tomorrow or on Monday.
yeah. Well, have a good weekend, Pavel, and
Thank you.
see you soon.
Yeah.